These villains are so bad, and not in a good way.
Lead me to the gold, and I just might let you live.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst villains in video games. For this list, we're taking a look at the least satisfying bad guys from a gameplay, plot, or design perspective. Since we'll be discussing the fate of many of these characters, a spoiler alert is definitely in order. Number 10, Derek C. Simmons, Resident Evil 6.
At the time of the attack, you had abandoned your post,
leaving the president vulnerable.
When we think of Resident Evil villains, businessmen in suits typically don't come to mind. This is just one of the many problems in Resident Evil 6 where we get stuck with Derek C. Simmons as our big bad guy.
Are you here to avenge the president? Is that it? You fool.
Slimy, smug, and corrupt, this national security advisor is responsible for the president's death and a bioterrorist attack. It's okay though, because he did it all for...
It's for the benefit of the United States and global security.
Can't see how killing the president is good for the country!
Yeah, like we never heard that one before. Cliche and one-dimensional, it's impossible to take Simmons seriously, and his character only manages to become sillier upon acquiring superhuman abilities and, turning into a T-Rex. Number 9, General Scales, Star Fox Adventures.
Get the Spellstone out of here!
This GameCube title has gotten a bad reputation for not being a traditional Star Fox game, but it's actually a pretty underappreciated action-adventure. When taking its villain into account, though, we can see why everyone dumps on Star Fox Adventures. We might have been able to overlook General Scales' prissy voice and pitiful appearance if he proved himself in battle. During the final showdown, however, this evil tyrant aimlessly walks around for Fox to strike first. Then, once the player finally makes a move, this happens.
Stop! Scales! You are no longer any use to me!
So, if Scales isn't the final boss, who is? Oh, Andros? Where did he come from? Don't ask questions, this is just dumb.
I've been looking forward to this day, to see you again, Fox McCloud.
Number 6, Jasper Bat Jr. No More Heroes 2, Desperate Struggle.
So much hostility!
Why? Why'd you kill him?
Ironic question coming from an assassin!
Seeing how No More Heroes 2 has a comedic edge, you could argue that Jasper Bat Jr. is an intentionally embarrassing villain. With that said, he's still pretty insufferable nonetheless.
Travis! Took you long enough!
Thought the suspense was gonna kill me.
An unlikely top-ranked assassin, Jasper targets Travis after the death of his family. While Jasper does have some cool toys at his disposal, he still feels like a wimpier version of Lex Luthor. Possessing a voice like fingernails on the chalkboard and the tackiest fashion sense imaginable, beating this scrawny twerp with a beam katana is pretty satisfying, we'll give you that. Let's just hope he never gets his own parade balloon. Number 7, Exdeath, Final Fantasy V. The Final Fantasy games have no shortage of great villains, but Exdeath is sadly among the lesser ones. Where so many other antagonists in this RPG series are complex, colorful, and genuinely menacing, Exdeath is just a straightforward bad guy who's evil because he's evil. The only thing that's even remotely kind of memorable about him is that he's a tree, which is weird, but sorta cool, I guess? I know dragons are cliched by now, but okay, tree it is. Considering the high standards this franchise has set for character development, however, we expected a lot more from this Dark Knight. Plus, Exdeath is kind of a crappy name. Number 6, Lucien Fairfax, Fable 2.
It's come to my attention that you have some sort of magic box. May I see it?
To be fair, Lucien Fairfax actually had the potential to be a compelling villain, complete with a tragic backstory that drove him to insanity. Alas, any respect we had for this character is squandered in the end with one of the most anticlimactic boss battles ever.
Do you think you're the only one ever to suffer loss?
For starters, you stop Lucien's evil plans with a music box. As if that's not lame enough, Lucien puts up no fight whatsoever, waiting for you to kill him.
You're merely delaying the inevitable.
Even if the player lets Lucien deliver his bloated monologue, Reaver eventually finishes the job with one shot. And you thought General Scales went down like a pansy.
Oh, I thought he'd never shut up.
Number 5, Team Galactic, Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Some of the more recent Pokemon villains have gotten a bit over the top. Like in X and Y, Team Flare schemes to destroy mankind with an ultimate weapon. As ridiculous as that sounds, Team Galactic's plot reaches another level of stupidity. Led by Master Cyrus, Team Galactic wishes to create a new universe deprived of emotions. We have no idea where this criminal organization gets their funding from, or why anybody would sign up for such an absurd plan. Considering the sheer lack of logic behind Team Galactic's motivations and execution, it's not surprising that they're inevitably thwarted by some meddling kids and their Pokemon. Number 4, General Shepard, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
That's one less loose end.
Everybody hates a traitor, especially when they stab you in the back for no good reason. Such is the case with General Shepard. Shepard is practically given unlimited resources to stop Makarov and end the war. Yet his most remembered moment was betraying and framing the elite task force he formed. Why, you ask? Supposedly to inspire patriotism in millions of Americans, which would convince them to enlist. Right. Man, there are so many problems with that logic. Number 3, the Didact, Halo 4.
You haven't mastered even these primitives, and man has not attained the mantle.
The Didact is essentially the General Grievous equivalent of video games, where all of his imposing and terrifying traits are shown in the expanded universe media, yet in the main event he comes off as a toothless and disposable foe. Also, you beat him with a QuickTime event. I don't need to explain why that sucks, do I? 343 Studios seem to have repeated this expanded universe mistake in Halo 5 too. We know a lot of people just play for the multiplayer, but come on guys, you gotta meet us halfway here.
Would you like to discuss the finer points of casual reconciliation?
More human sarcasm.
Number 2, Skullface, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
This pirate crackdown's a go! Move!
Skullface may have been an intimidating bad guy, if this were a Saturday morning cartoon show intended for 7-year-olds. For a Metal Gear Solid game, however, this guy couldn't feel more out of place. The fact that Skullface is supposed to be a legitimately threatening foe only makes his presence more laughable. To add insult to injury, he succumbs to numerous idiotic villain cliches. You know, like giving a long, pretentious speech instead of just killing the good guy already.
My truth was stolen from me, and so was my past.
We could point out that since he and his special forces, XOF, speak English, then his genocidal plan to eliminate the English-speaking world has a fatal flaw. But then again, this is coming from a guy who wears a Zorro mask that in no way hides his, well, skull face.
I'll see you in hell.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions.
Fascinating document, huh? Seems like this Sir Francis was in my line of work.
Take that, Mr. Eyeballs.
To rob you of one would have deprived me of the other. And those Templars had to die.
Number 1, Lyric, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric.
You and I have unfinished business.
Lyric isn't just one of the worst video game villains ever, but also possibly the worst character in the entire Sonic franchise, which is saying a lot. I'm looking at you, Big the Cat. With the deplorable design and generic voice, this armored snake feels more like one of Dr. Eggman's minions than a primary antagonist.
No, they didn't. I had to make this
to keep myself alive.
Planning to destroy all organic life and rebuild the world in his robotic image, he's about as subtle as a Captain Planet bad guy. Oh, and do not even get us started on the ludicrous time travel plot twist that connects Sonic to Lyric.
He appears to have landed in the near future. Not yours.
And while we're at it, what kind of name is Lyric anyway? What does he do, terrorize karaoke parlors? Let's just say that we'd all like to travel back in time and prevent this villain from ever being.
The only world of metal you're going to is the junkyard.
Do you agree with our list?
Not bad.
Who do you think is the worst video game villain? For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.